Facebook's new crypto Libra gets big bankers. Got a link to that, Justin? Sounds like a headline. Haven't heard much about that. Maybe I can just Google it. Let's do Facebook new crypto. There you go. Wall Street Journal. Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, Uber are among firms that will invest $10 million each in consortium that will govern digital coin. What the hell's Facebook got to do with it? $10 million was nothing. Like literally nothing. Every time I say a word, Facebook makes $10 million. So all right, let's check out the market. We got Pays gapping up after a weird day yesterday. INSG Winnebago. This market likes to falter in the afternoon. IIPR again up at a all-time high. Match AMT Chipotle. Ameren looks like gapping up overnight here for some reason, but opening a little bit higher and just came down. Not quite sure why. MongoDB opening lower. Looks like it may try to break this lower trend line here. Looks like it is breaking that lower trend line. What else? Upland, AMD coming down 2%. All right, maybe giving an opportunity for an entry. If the market's going to stay positive. Was pretty good yesterday. We're still in the sideways consolidation, which is pretty nice. A little sideways consolidation here and a pop-up. Sideways consolidation here. This one's pretty tight. That's a nice little tight flag. Could be opportunities, like I said, to buy up some of these AMD's breakout was here, so you're back within 3%. So AMD back within buy range and on kind of low volume, so I would actually view this as a buyable opportunity for AMD. Yeah, good stop. Still about 11% lower, unfortunately. $36. It's way out of still out of range for my my strategy there. I wonder what else I could get into. Hmm. See what else is going on. Not too much. 1.89% is my biggest one up, other than Pays, which isn't on my global list. So Pays moving up. Facebook up 2%. I'm not sure if it's due to their coin or what, but morning, Rob. Happy Friday, sir. IIPR seems to be continuing to lead us here, at least lead our leaderboard. It's always right up here near the top. That's a pretty good sign. Man, Roku, pretty solid up there at that high. And it's been so for weeks now. That's all for my actionable list. Let's check out Daily Movers. Only one, ARQL, which is at highs, but definitely out of reach at this stage of the game. See if turnaround trades will yield anything. BETUP. What if there's a setting for margin on the bottom of the chart? There is for trading view. What if there's a setting for margin? Appearance? No? Doesn't appear to be. Data box, huh? Hmm. Morning, Shirley. Here you go, bottom. It's like 20% or something. Let's try this. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. Don't think that's what I'm looking for. 2.62 to 1 risk reward ratio. I like plans. Take a look at that as soon as I figure out what this chart's doing. That's like a weird inverse thing. Yeah, we'll try that. Okay. Disney. Wow, look at Disney yesterday. My goodness. This thing wants to rock. 1.62 to 1 risk reward ratio. I like plans. Take a look at that as soon as I figure out what this chart's doing. Yeah, we'll try that. Okay. Disney. Wow, look at Disney yesterday. My goodness. This thing wants to rock. 1.62 to 1 risk reward ratio. I like plans. Take a look at that as soon as I figure out what this chart's doing. $4 stop loss. So 138. It's pretty much under yesterday's low. It's probably not a bad place to be. We didn't quite get over this high here from a couple weeks ago, however. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 8% drop. Definitely another flat base. So this would be I'm not sure this would be considered a base on base or not. It was such a long consolidation. This may just be a first stage breakout. Or maybe be just a first stage base for Disney. Yeah, I actually was looking for height that time, Nick. Sometimes when I look at these turnaround plays, it chops around my. You have these are the earnings events right here, and it really chops around them. So I was trying to get some margin up there, but it looks like it already messed it up. Should keep Disney on my actionable list. AMD right back down to lows, man. I think I didn't buy anything. Yeah, the bars on the right are expansion area. It always gets way too over bloated. But yeah, I think this is more than likely a first stage base for Disney. With just tremendous digital assets in the entertainment industry, I can't imagine this is going to be a loser in the long run. Just seems like it's just going to be really good. Let's take a look at a trade for Disney. I don't have them going to sit up here near a buy point. Yesterday was just a tremendous pocket pivot. Didn't quite close into highs. It was really close. High was 141.85. So within 50s, over 50 cents. Basically a dollar. No? It's less than a dollar. About 50 cents, yeah. A little bit above. So what would be your point for Disney? So like IBD usually takes a 20%. That's a pretty tight little base there. Close enough. So 170.5. And what do we get here? Holy Jesus. That's pretty good for Disney. If it can hold up. It's a post-it note. Hey, Disney's got some pretty good percentages if it can do that. Actually, what it would have to do is if it did that, that would be really good. Market 0.85%. Hasn't quite found any major footing yet. It also hasn't dropped tremendously, which is good too. Pays Winnebago. Rocking higher here, trying to break that prior high. Looks like it did. Has earnings coming up. And dividend, 619. Looks like next Wednesday or something. Yeah, next Wednesday has earnings. So it's trying to make a run before earnings here for Winnebago. Very nice. This Pay's doing okay, not great. Snap. Not doing too bad. Yesterday, it did finally rally through here. Our trend line, and just kind of petered away. I won't say in low volume either, unfortunately, but hopefully it holds on to do good things. AMD still getting lower. Appears to be some kind of a support line here. It's been riding the whole time. Speaking of that, what was that one trade we had? Was it iRobot yesterday? Didn't quite come to fruition in terms of rallying yet. Actually kind of sold off decently. Is that end of day or after hours? That's after hours, so that's probably a dark pool trade right there with so much volume compared to the rest of the day. That's a dark pool closing. They do have to report it to the main exchange. That usually happens, from my understanding, towards the end of the day. So we'll keep an eye on iRobot, but not really majorly actionable. Roku, green again. What's a dark pool? A dark pool is huge transactions that take place off of the main exchange. So picture a large casino being the NASDAQ in the charts that we see. There's a little room off to the side with two double doors made of platinum, and you can walk in there and trade massive amounts of you can gamble massive amounts and walk out and just scream, "I just won $1 billion" or something, whatever. And but basically it transacts outside of the main exchange, but they report back to the main exchange. Another thing, say Goldman Sachs wants to buy, a million shares of Roku for $104 or what doesn't matter what the price is, and then someone else wants to sell 1 million shares of Roku for $104. They would do that in one singular transaction between the two, instead of at the auction, which is the general market private transaction. There's Disney. All right, still trying to line up a Disney trade. This is potentially a pretty good trade. Let's go see what IBD has to say about Disney. Can't imagine it's going to be horrible. $79 composite rating, 94 relative strength rating. So not the best composite rating. Number 2 in the industry group, and the industry group rank is 122 out of 197. So definitely not the best. EPS is negative 13%, but it's running nonetheless. Oh wow, and they have something today, an article about. Here you go. I'll post this. I'll go ahead and read some of it, but I'll post this in case you guys want to do that. Want to look at it. The underappreciated Disney streaming service should power the future earnings at Dow Jones media giant Walt Disney as subscriber growth ramp-ups. Disney stock is below a new buy point. Netflix, meanwhile, continues to lag the broader market. Disney's increasing bets on video streaming as it takes on Netflix, Amazon, Apple, Comcast, forcing 133.3 million paid subscribers for the 3 major Disney streaming services by fiscal 2024. Wow. This doesn't seem like your normal BS analyst call. Our willingness to underwrite these higher direct-to-consumer estimates stems from a faster-than-expected global launch, more IP aggregated more quickly than anticipated, a plan to leverage third-party distribution, Disney Plus to ramp faster than Netflix. And they raised targets to 160 from 135. Interesting. Disney eyes a new buy point. This is what IBD has to say about it. That was a thing. Disney Plus streaming unveiled in April when it staged a cup and handle Breakout at 115. April, where the hell's a cup and handle? Relative strength line hit a new high on Thursday, which is bullish. They don't say now that it's in a base? They don't call that a flat base? Oh, second stage flat base. So it's a second stage base. So definitely this is a buyable base on Disney. This is definitely a buyable base on Disney. So yeah, I would argue my 170 target for Disney is completely viable with some really good price gains. Eli, this is one of my trades. I think I got to take this and go pretty heavy. Question is how fast is it gonna get up there? Is the question. Because there's varying targets with varying levels of success here potentially. No, buy high, sell higher. Never quit. Yes, Rob, the same news that popped them higher in the first place. Yeah, if a story's good, then it shall continue. If you think about what Disney's acquired in terms of assets with all the Star Wars, Marvel, I mean, it's basically everything. Basically, most of the large franchises these days they've acquired. So, CRWD, what's that guy doing? Up 3%. Good. Good, good, good. Yeah, got to line up this. I think I'm going to take this Disney trade. It's got to see what's the right opportunity from my trading standpoint. This is a very good trade. Second stage flat base is ideal. That is great. I don't even see an April cup and handle. I guess this would be your cup and handle. Right here. Cup here with your handle. And that was your buy point, I guess. So it broke out early. Oh, yeah, it broke out early on no volume. Then they had the gap up. Yes, this thing's going to break out. It's just a matter of how crazy it's going to be. And when. Yes, look at that. Look at that volume yesterday. Just tremendous. I don't think we're going to quite gap up that way, but well, they actually have software that points out these cup and handles to them. So that's their handle line. Here's the beginning of the cup, bottom of the cup, top of the right handle. A very weird event. A very weird cup and handle, which is why I didn't spot it. But yeah, regardless here, I just like to see how the yeah, like I said, it was like 8.5% deep flat base. 8.3% deep flat base. That would be running you at 20%. And it's still there, you know. You just got to pick your spot. 1018. All right. Ah. It's like the general market's rolling over here a little bit, taking Disney with it just slightly. All right, we'll come back to this guy. Let's see what's going around the market today. Yeah, day looks red, but look at this nice consolidation the Nasdaq's doing. Just very nice and tight, very tidy, very neat. Lower volume, so we're just kind of consolidating this. Yeah, I'm not kind of going day by day like that. I'm going by the general market trend. So I gotta play the longer game here. I can't go day by day like that, Eli. Ends up chopping me up. So I kind of look past it'll see the bigger picture. I think this is the bigger picture. A nice tight bull flag. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. So I'm looking past that, holding on to the positions I've got. Roku coming right back. MKC. Disney dropping a little bit. Yeah, I'm not mad at sideways either, Rob. That's a nice consolidation. I mentioned over here a couple of times. I'm like, it would be nice if we could go sideways. We kept drifting lower, and here we didn't drift at all, which was nice. It was nice we drifted up, but here we actually are going sideways, and I'm not really mad at that either. Our Disney coming in. Looks like it barely touched a new high there. Mentioned yesterday didn't quite close at a breakout level. So thanks for mentioning this one here. Was it Shirley? Yeah, Shirley. Thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, I kind of forgot about Disney a little bit, but now that it's back on my actionable list. Shouldn't lose track of it. Trying to think if there's any others like that we've had at some point in time. And Beyond's holding pretty good. A little shocked at that. That's a nice little setup. If it weren't for this big pop, you'd have a beautiful little bull flag here for a nice move for Beyond Meat out of a little bit of a. I mean, it's just like a very tiny base here, but that could prove to do something. Right blockchain getting its mojo back on for whatever reason. I don't know why. Winnebago breaking out today a little bit. Pays. IIPR just continues to go into highs. GDX. Oh, GDX. I missed that one. How did I miss that? I saw Disney, but I missed GDX. That's weird. Thanks for mentioning that. 2325. Not bad. 5.25 to 1. Why don't you stop at $1? At a 22.25. That's not too bad. I'm not really mad at that trade either. Nice job, Shirley. Yeah, I kind of like the lower, slower thing going on here. GDX sounds like a familiar name. Let's look it up. Oh, it's gold miners. That's why. Ew. It's a gold play. Gold prices jump as Trump torpedoes stock market. That's an IBD headline. What? Never thought I'd hear that. Oh, that was 2 weeks ago. So yeah, investors are nervous. Look at that volume stepping into the GDX. It's a tremendous amount of volume. Yeah, not bad. Yeah, it's gold miners index. Ooh, KL, which is an IBD leader, is on this article where they mention GDX, and it's got an interesting little setup here, which also isn't bad. Looks like they're paying 3-cent dividend quarterly, about 12 cents annually. That's a pretty good dividend rate. SLS down 63%. What? What is that? What is? Oh, that's the name of my mortgage company. Those are the guys that service my mortgage. I'm not sure if they're the same company or not, but dividend is 0.31%. Why does that seem? I thought it'd be higher than that. Tesla. Yeah, we're still chopping around up here. Haven't really dropped down much lower. Very, very low volume yesterday. Kind of the lowest, one of the lowest in this bottoming area. That red day was a little bit lower. So that's a little bit of an ominous sign. Maybe it just means that the volume's generally drying up. I don't know. I would think looks like there's some resistance here around the 215, 214, 215 level for Tesla. We'll see how that goes. That's not too bad. Not too good either. Market still with no feet underneath it, 0.8%. Still within yesterday's range, which is fine. We'll see what happens with that. KG leading my leaderboard here today. Pays a close second. IIPR still holding it high as Winnebago. Ooh, falling off. That's no bueno. That has been happening a little bit here lately. I will say things that are kind of popping off have been falling off, unless you're poking higher, which is like Roku. Roku back in filling a lot. Team MKC. Disney still holding pretty tight there at 142. Mongo's back in positive territory. INTU, Intuit. This is one we've been looking at for a few days now. Nice little move up there. It's been slowly consolidating. Yesterday was a large volume day. Also possible dark pool transaction. Yep, there you go. Dark pool transactions. That's what those are. You don't get limit orders like that filled in the general market. I mean, this is the closing bar. Look at that volume was 125,000. 225. Actually, that was 275. And you get what is that? No, 63,000. 353. That makes more sense than 483. How are these going to fill limit at the same time without with the market closed? It's not. So it's going to be a dark pool transaction. Etsy was looking pretty promising yesterday. Sold off pretty quickly. Hasn't really come back. AMD coming down 4% now. Man, it's a little tough to get behind markets when you're still kind of coming down. But the volume is definitely not elevated, which is good. So whenever AMD stops plummeting, maybe down here a little lower, just under $30. I don't know where it's going to get to, but we have this trend line that's been kind of holding on to. Yeah, I agree, Eli. It doesn't look very great. I don't like the reversal. MongoDB had something similar. This one keeps dropping. But the volume's light, so a reversal isn't out of question here. It's just a matter of when it could possibly reverse. I mean, nothing's really changed fundamentally. So either it was overblown on the way up, down 13% from that, about the ultimate high point there, or it's a good place to pick it up. Looks like FTNT. Let's go take a look at that, see if it is similar. FTNT kind of dropped pretty. So there is our kind of breakout point on FTNT. And we kind of rallied higher on good volume, dropped on a little bit lower volume. We had a nice turnaround day here at the bottom with elevated volume. And then we had basically a week and a half of not a lot of buying. And you see we went from jumping up to just kind of languishing. And then we had a gap down on earnings. So AMD's after earnings, I believe. Slightly different situation, but does look kind of similar. I think the volume's dropped off a little more on AMD. So I think the guys got their fill there, and maybe they're just kind of... Well, we'll see if it gets supported. That's the main thing. Here's the 50-day moving average. Above this declining trend line. Also above this trend line. This goes back, you can see my weekly chart, to the low point here in 2018. So we could find some support down there. And that probably, if it gets down to here and start showing some bouncing signatures, that could be potentially a place to try to pick some up. There's quite a bit of green on the chart. If I go to, let's go to IBD, I bet you their up-down volume's pretty good. $1.2, so not great, but better. B+ accumulation distribution, which is pretty good. 4 quarters of increasing fund ownership. So the technicals, of course, the technical is probably good for a lot of stocks that we follow. I have noticed that. But this is kind of a turnaround play. 29.8. Oh, right there. Yeah. Off that high, maybe. We're getting down towards that level, and the volume's kind of, I'm not sure. It's hard to compare this volume here to this volume here. I actually wanted to write a tool for that someday. See how it compares to the previous day's volume or something like that. But this isn't a horrible area. You see there's some nice volume. That's lower volume, actually. Lower volume, lower volume. Higher volume on the downside. But it looks like it's... I think there's higher volume here. It's hard to tell. Hard to tell. Etsy cutting in a little bit deeper. AMT, MongoDB in the positive. We'll see if it'll break this range. That looks a little bit more like Fortinet, where it's kind of bouncing on lower volume, kind of languishing a little bit. That looks a little bit more ominous. See, that's not getting right back either. Look at yesterday. Yesterday, just a lot of choppy action. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Really no major direction. Chop here, chop here, chop here. Versus, I'm sure if we go back, it'll be a completely different story. Very non-directional. Here we have some chop kind of just moving up, and then trend changes right there for whatever reason. You never do get to know these things. So we'll see what happens. It could try to be bouncing out of a lower level, or it could just falter as a horizontal trend line. Probably right about there at about the 168.62. And you have this trend line, which it poked through lower this morning that it's above. So whichever one of those gives first is probably going to be our next move in Mongo. Pays at 2%, kind of back up here towards highs, but already dropping off some as well. How's Disney doing? Doing good, holding right up here, trying to come right back. Disney looking pretty bullish up here. How's our volume? I will say a majority of this volume probably came on this one spike right there at the after hours, right at the close or after hours. And that is after hours, so another dark pool transaction. So someone bought a 1.47 million shares of Disney right there. Sometime during the day. Look at that nice bullish closing candle, 727,000 shares traded on the market, in the market, which is good. So I'm liking this Disney trade. Just got to figure out which one to take, and hopefully the market will turn around soon. Disney will be a buoy of that. We shall see. I guess I should see if I can maybe layer in a little bit. Yesterday would have been a great buy for Disney off that little high break right there. That would have been good, 138.55. So yeah, they stalled just a little bit before that at the open. Consolidated a little ascending flag, and then a breakout. So that's not bad. Snapped, still chopping around this small resistance area here. Good volume yesterday on the way up. Right through there. Boom, huge volume. Unfortunately, it stayed kind of large. You see down here we had this kind of cup in volume. We stayed pretty elevated as we drifted lower, which I'm not a huge fan of that. There we go. That's better. So if Disney's going to rally, is going to get there in September, October, or November to that 170 level. That's a question you got to ask yourself. Well, that's a question I'm asking myself. You don't have to ask that question. I'm asking that question. So that's, I'm not even quite giving it that short of a leash. Actually, that was just kind of happenstance. That's funny. So 920. So it'll be 11:15. So which one seems more likely? That one or that one? Yeah, I'm like in November. I don't have a December. There's November and then January. And the January is not bad either. And I guess I could participate in more run if it gets going faster as it starts turning up here a little bit. We need to see some volume tick up on the attempted breakout here. That's not too bad. Just got to figure this one out. I mean, it rallied pretty hard out of that large base. It should rally pretty hard. Continuing. This is right. Eli, this is one of my trades. Wonder how I made so much in 2017 off of setups like this. A little bit different. We are in a bull market, but not nearly as bullish as we were back in 2017. That's a general slope of that. It's obviously accelerating from that. I gotta look at this longer. I don't like some of these. Pays up 3%, leading our board now. Beyond right, DocuSign coming back a little bit, pays up here. Regeneron, Coop. Starbucks just non-stop printing right there. That's pretty good. I'll go DB. Yeah, more of the same. Just got to decide what I want to do with Disney. It's not giving us breakout volume so far, unfortunately. NQ, the NASDAQ, 0.65%, so it's bounced back a little bit. It's pretty good. $154. So the house and buy Disney. Thinking about it actually, not literally, but I have one large position available in my account, and I think I'm gonna put the whole thing in, which is actually it's not even a full position. It's not even a full position at the moment. Actually, if I base it off of, if I split my account into my TQQQ strategy and the rest of my strategy, then I've got about, yeah, actually I have over one. So I'm gonna go pretty heavy into this trade. I think if the volume signature, we start getting some elevated volume with some breakouts, and we're fighting right there. See, it's fighting it. It's got to come back. It's got to come back. Don't fight it, Disney. Don't fight it. Just let it go. Let it go. Let it go. That's funny. Or horrifying, depending on things. See, that's not a great candle on a day where it should be breaking out. I don't know. I don't usually play a stock like Disney, though. I'm not too sure of its behavior. Maybe good thing. How's volume doing today overall? So we're almost an hour into the day. We have 3879 times 6.5. That's going to be about what's on. It's 25 million. And our average here is 12. So we're on pace for double average volume, but we're not really breaking there. Why don't you got Photoshop, Eli? You had that through your last business or last company? Oh, well. Oh, well. Darn. I actually have Photoshop, but I will not make myself into Frozen. Come on, Disney. If you're stalling on me, this trade's not going to happen. If you go sideways up and through, maybe it will. I don't know. Should I give this thing till January? It's still pretty good percent if I give it to January. Should do a remake of that, Eli. That's right. We'll make it and sell it to Netflix. It'll be, let's make a comedy of Frozen. That'd be great. A parody movie. Call it Thawing or something like that. Yeah, you know. I've never seen the movie. Otherwise, I'd probably be able to come up with some kind of a horrible synopsis. Mongo back to negative territory. That's not so good. Come on, Mongo. Some breakouts got to work. We haven't had too many breakouts work yet. Make it a comedy horror movie. That would be pretty good. Do like a Wayne's Brothers adaptation or something. I got to mow my damn lawn at some point. All right, guys. Well, I got to bounce out of here. Market's kind of going sideways, languishing here. Disney is looking very good. As long as we don't break down, if we kind of break up out of this, you know, again, I would be looking at trading this this name. I probably will try to buy into it. We'll see if I do it today or Monday. But this is a very good looking setup. We noticed it on the jump up. Haven't had a chance to get in until should have got in yesterday, but I wasn't looking at it yesterday. We're looking at it today. So a traditional breakout. We're actually above the breakout point, 142. What's the high here? The high is 142.37. So 142.47, which is down here a little bit. We're barely above the breakout point. So that's the breakout point. We'll see if we're stalling or not. Yeah, so far a little bit of stalling there. So we'll see what the rest of the day holds for us. But if the market turns around, goes bullish, Disney could have a nice day. I'm not sure if we'll get breakout volume out of this. Probably not the way that it's going, but this is a very large cap name. It's capable of it if they want it enough. So I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to work out. You don't have the volume quite yet, but we're up here, and Disney probably will do pretty good based on what they got going on. Basically, you know, switching to the new format business model for entertainment. So, all right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Have a good day. See you guys later in the crypto show if you're in that. Otherwise, I will see you on Monday. Have a good day. Bye-bye.